A furious backlash is brewing, but it's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. A perfect storm of a scathing new book, simmering drama at Netflix, and controversy over an upcoming Australian tour are all hitting at once. This isn't just another round of bad headlines. It's a sign that public patience may be wearing thin. So, how did all these events create such a critical moment for the Sussex brand? And could this finally be the point of no return? It feels like the mood has soured. The carefully built world of Harry and Meghan, founded on a narrative of victimhood and speaking their truth, seems to be buckling under public fatigue. This time, it feels different. The general indifference they sought to escape seems to be catching up with them. Today, we're not just looking at one bad news cycle. We're connecting the dots between several major challenges erupting around them, creating a storm of controversy that threatens to sink the Sussex ship for good. Well, look at the public sentiment that's turning against them, the planned Australian tour that's already a PR headache, the explosive new book tearing their story apart, and the high-stakes pressure with their Netflix paymasters. This is the story of how the Sussex brand may have reached a crucial tipping point. Let's start with the flashpoint. Not one single rant, but a growing chorus of criticism that suggests a widespread fatigue has set in. There's a noticeable shift in tone across social media and news outlets, where many feel the couple's projects, from interviews to books, keep revisiting the same old conflicts. The world is facing real problems, and for some, the complaints of two people who left the monarchy for a life in California are starting to ring hollow. For years, the Sussexes have built their brand on their dramatic exit from the royal family. It was the foundation for their Oprah interview, Harry's memoir Spare, and their Netflix docuseries. But public sympathy isn't endless. The label of grifters, famously thrown at them by a Spotify executive, seems to have stuck in the minds of their critics. The argument is that they have one story, being treated badly by the royals, and they've told it over and over again. This isn't just chatter, you can see it in real time. Polls have shown a decline in their favorability, especially in the UK. Their supporters would argue they are simply reclaiming their own narrative, but a growing number of people seem to be asking, why are we still talking about this? This growing indifference is the tip of the iceberg because it exposes a potential flaw in their strategy. They believe their story was a bottomless well of public interest that could be monetized forever. Instead, for many, it has become tiresome. It seems the world is starting to tune them out, and that's having real-world consequences, starting with a trip down under that was meant to be a triumph but is already turning into a mess. If you want proof that this shifting sentiment has teeth, look no further than the fiasco surrounding their planned mid-April 2026 trip to Australia. The visit, which their team has framed as a privately funded tour for business and charity, has been met not with excitement, but with significant backlash. An online petition demanding that no Australian taxpayer money be used for their security or logistics has exploded, reportedly gathering over 35,000 signatures. The campaign, titled No Taxpayer Funding or Official Support for Harry and Meghan's Private Visit to Australia, argues that since they are now private citizens, they shouldn't get publicly funded perks. In a country dealing with its own economic pressures, the thought of footing any part of the bill for the Sussexes has sparked public anger. Critics have slammed the planned visit as a faux royal tour, an attempt to enjoy the benefits of a royal visit without any of the duties. This jabs at the core of their brand crisis. They present themselves as global humanitarians, but their actions are often seen as self-serving and commercial. Meghan is even expected to bring her lifestyle brand, as ever, to Australia, having already secured trademarks for her products there. This is a world away from their last visit in 2018. Back then, they were the monarchy's golden couple, greeted by huge crowds and staying at the Governor-General's residence. Now, they've been warned to have thick skins because they are no longer assured of a warm welcome. The Australian situation is a public rejection, demonstrating that their royal adjacent status doesn't automatically grant them respect or adoration anymore. The public isn't buying what they're selling, and as this rejection grows, so do the attacks on the very story their brand is built on. It's clear the tide has turned. But this public backlash is just one front in their battle for relevance. An even bigger threat is coming from an author who has built a career on exposing secrets the powerful want to hide. When we get back, we'll dive into the bombshell claims from Tom Bower's new book, which are so explosive the Sussexes have labeled them a deranged conspiracy. And if you're finding this analysis useful, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's next. Just as public opinion seems to be souring, a new literary bomb has dropped, threatening to tear down what's left of Harry and Meghan's carefully built image. Investigative biographer Tom Bower, known for his relentless approach, released his new book in March 2026, titled Betrayal, Power, Deceit, and the Fight for the Future of the Royal Family. Its contents are as fiery as the title. The book paints a damning portrait of Meghan as a manipulative figure who drove a wedge between Harry and his family. One of the most explosive claims describes a tense argument at Kensington Palace where Meghan allegedly snapped at Prince William, "Get your finger out of my face." Bower also alleges that William and Catherine were wary of Meghan from the start, concerned Harry was moving too fast with someone they felt was unhappy with her role and bitter that she would never be queen. But perhaps the most damaging allegation comes from Queen Camilla. According to Bower, as Harry grew more estranged from his family, Camilla supposedly told a friend, "Meghan's brainwashed Harry." This single quote, attributed to a senior royal, gives weight to a fear many observers have privately held for years, that Harry isn't just a willing partner, but a man. The Sussex's response has been swift and angry. A spokesperson slammed the book, calling its claims a deranged conspiracy and melodrama, and attacking Bower's fixation on them. But their denials are up against excerpts being published in major UK papers, and Bower himself defending his work, which gives the claims an air of credibility that's hard to ignore. Betrayal is so powerful because it offers an alternative, and for many, a more believable, explanation for the last 6 years. It recasts Harry not as a hero escaping a toxic institution, but as a troubled man unhappy with being the spare who is expertly handled by someone with a plan. And while they fight this PR battle, another, possibly more important, one is brewing with the company that was supposed to secure their American dream. The massive Netflix deal was meant to be Harry and Meghan's ticket to financial freedom. It was their grand entrance into the global media elite. But as of March 2026, that partnership looks less like a dream come true and more like a high-pressure arrangement on shaky ground. While Netflix executives publicly deny any major problems, signs of tension are bubbling up. After the success of their 2022 docuseries Harry v. Meghan, their other projects haven't landed with the same impact. The 2024 docuseries Polo was a passion project for Harry, but it struggled to find a large audience. In 2025, their exclusive production deal was reportedly downgraded to a first-look agreement. More recently, Netflix confirmed it was no longer partnering with Meghan's lifestyle brand, As Ever, which is now being spun off to stand on its own. Some reports have even suggested that top Netflix executives have grown tired of the drama, with one insider bluntly telling a reporter, "We're done." While Netflix has pushed back on these rumors, the whispers of trouble persist. Now, in what seems like a move to prove their worth, they've announced a new scripted polo drama set in Florida. They're even working with the creators of Gossip Girl to give it some sparkle. However, it feels like an attempt to find a winning formula after a series of underwhelming releases, especially since they still have other projects like adaptations of the romance novels The Wedding Date and Meet Me at the Lake in development. The Netflix deal was their declaration of independence from the royal family. Now, they face immense pressure to deliver content that justifies their massive payday. Their one big story has been told, and their paymasters are reportedly growing impatient. As their Hollywood dream faces a reality check, a stench of a real royal scandal across the pond is threatening to drag them down even further. As if their self-inflicted wounds weren't enough, a massive scandal involving Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince Andrew, has exploded, and Harry and Meghan are getting hit by the fallout. In February 2026, Andrew was arrested on his 66th birthday on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The arrest is linked to allegations that he leaked confidential government documents to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein while he was a British trade envoy. This isn't just another bad headline. It's a full-blown crisis that led King Charles to strip his brother of his remaining titles, and evict him from his royal home. Police held Andrew for nearly 12 hours and searched his properties. For the monarchy, it's a catastrophe. For Harry and Meghan, it's a toxic link they just can't shake. The Andrew scandal completely undermines Harry and Meghan's narrative of being the sole victims of a corrupt and uncaring institution. It's a brutal reminder that the royal family is dealing with far bigger and dirtier problems than the Sussexes' complaints about security or seating charts. The UK government is even considering legislation to remove Andrew from the line of succession entirely. The toxicity is so strong it's reportedly causing issues in their own camp. Author Duncan Larkham has noted that while Harry remains close to his cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, Meghan is especially concerned about how the connection to their disgraced father could damage her brand. True or not, it shows their dilemma. They are forever tied to a family now wrapped up in a criminal investigation. Every time Andrew's name is in the news, the royal brand they still cling to gets a little more tarnished. This final piece completes the perfect storm. The public's growing indifference is being proven by the disastrous Australian tour reception. Their victim narrative is being dismantled by Tom Bower's scathing new book. Their financial independence is under pressure as their Netflix deal comes under scrutiny. And now, the last bit of prestige from their royal connection is being eroded by the Andrew scandal. Each crisis fuels the others, creating a vortex of negative press and public skepticism from which there appears to be no easy way out. We started with a simple idea: public patience is running out. Over the course of this analysis, we've seen how that sentiment is playing out on a global stage. The perfect storm of a planned Australian tour met with backlash, a new book's devastating claims, high-stakes pressure at Netflix, and the inescapable stain of the Prince Andrew scandal have all hit at once. This is more than just a rough patch for Harry and Meghan. It's the result of years of strategic miscalculations, a story that has lost its impact, and a brand that has lost its shine. They exchanged service for celebrity, and the public seems to have grown tired of the trade. The Australian petition shows their star power is fading. Tom Bower's book suggests their founding story is a carefully constructed fiction. The struggles at Netflix raise questions about their creative power. They seem trapped between a royal world they say they hate and a celebrity world that seems increasingly uninterested in what they have to sell. The final nail isn't just one event, but the combined weight of all of them, suggesting the currency of their victimhood has been spent. The Sussex brand as we know it is at a crossroads, gasping for air. The question is no longer if they can recover, but what the next, inevitable rebrand will look like. Is this truly the end of an era, or is another reinvention, another grab for relevance, just around the corner? Let me know what you think in the comments below.